Extra Ketchup, artist, designer, creative director, criminal. So growing up in the South Bronx, I was pretty much influenced a lot by the graffiti that I grew up watching, and it sort of was what gave a structure to what I really wanted to do as far as art. I never really took it serious until I actually was introduced to graffiti. I was introduced to graffiti from by a friend who also lived in the neighborhood, older cat. He was a DJ, and once he pretty much gave me the elements and like the breakdown and the knowledge and the history of like graffiti, it kind of just like took me by surprise, like as far as like how everything went about with a structure. And I always had the curiosity of when and how they did it, and during the time that they did it, I always thought that people just did it whenever. I know that it was mainly a nighttime thing. So graffiti to me was mainly like the virtue that opened the doors to just crime. Um, so graffiti was mainly the pinnacle of what pretty much gave me structure to art, because you had to follow, rules. It was rules, and it was not just throwing your name up there. So it kind of gave me like that understanding of one with status and order. So I always took the same niches from graffiti into everything I did, as far as figuring out like that sketch, going from the sketch to actually bringing it to life with more colors. And it's the same kind of mathematics that kind of go into designing too, because when you first start graffiti, you just have this one idea of just that simple outline before it transforms into 3D. So graffiti's always been like the backbone to everything I do. So what pretty much like gave me the interest in flipping mainly logos and stamps was the fact that everything was always in our face, and we didn't know like the actual meaning behind half the things that we wore and what we saw. And it was always this curiosity of like, who created it, what does it mean, or why do people buy it the most? So to me, it's just like, I grew up on these things. I grew up wearing Gap, and I grew up wearing Champion stuff. So it's like, how can I remix things, and how can I pretty much give something my own flavor, my own taste? Because ever since I was young, it's just like I wore clothes and I like certain things, but I always just like to do it sort of a, not rendition, but I like to give it my own twist just to make it different. And when it came to logos, it was just having that ideal representation of what the streets and what my understanding of marketing was. I felt like to market something, it has to be eye-catchy, but at the same time very discreet. What I flip and how I flip it is the same with how I move. I like to be very low-key, so it could look like that to you until you really pay attention to it. So it's something that to me is like moving in the shadows. It's like wolves in sheep clothing, They're giving us something, we just have to accept it. But you accept it if you want. I chose not to accept it. I just chose to be influenced by things and just switching it up to what was my taste and how I would like to wear it. What I feel is slept on about myself, this is all just an idea that it brings satisfaction towards me. It's like I never did this in order to pretty much get the okay from anyone. It was just ideas that I had, and as a designer, I feel like one thing that is slept on is just your self-expression mainly. I feel like a lot of people do things mainly for just acceptance, and as a designer, I think it's just mainly about being free. So what I think is slept on the most is just my freedom and the fact that I have no attachment. The actual footwork and representing yourself as an actual individual to a world where you most likely won't be accepted. You get what I'm saying? So it's the challenge of actually going against the grain and putting yourself out there as an individual, trying to make it, and now I'm working with kids, so it's like not proving, but also just chasing growth. And I feel as an artist and just designing, you're supposed to chase and gravitate towards growth mainly. To actually understand that ideas can be simply done if I just take my time and find a structure and find a way to do it. It's just feels limitless. This is Extra Ketchup, and you're tuning into Slept On Films.